Piera.
And I'm Harlee.
We're casually
Mental.
so defeated.
Oh my
What is that
God.
tone?
I mean, I feel defeated to be completely honest. Like, we're in June gloom. I don't know what's going on. Like, is Mercury in retrograde? I don't even know what that means anymore. I feel like every day Mercury's in retrograde at this point. Like, what is going on in the world?
Well, I will say, as someone who follows astrology a little bit, Mercury is stationed out retrograde, but there's a shadow, like, part that's like worse than the actual retrograde. So,
Well, then what the
very
fuck
unhelpful.
is going on?
What's
Like,
going
you
on? Tell me.
legit. Oh my gosh. I mean, you know what's funny is that this episode I think will be super interesting. And just so everyone knows, me and Piera meet every week. And we talk about like what we most want to talk about. So like if there's a guest that makes sense, we'll bring on the guest. If it's something that we both want to do like an introductory on, like obviously this is our podcast. And so this is more of a passion project for us. And so
Yeah.
whatever we're going through, we want to kind of share it with people. And so after talking, we were like, I was telling Piera about how I just got super triggered by an ex lately. And we were like, yo, like, and she's been
Let's
wanting to
talk
talk about the
about it.
subject. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was more me where I was like not wanting to talk about it. And so I think I'm finally in a place where I'm like, okay, fine, let's go.
Yay! Let's talk
I
about
mean,
it.
oh my gosh. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we all can agree we all have exes that have triggered us, male, female, whatever.
All of them.
Whatever
All
you
of them.
identify as, I think every single person has something that has triggered you, traumatized you, and it's taken forever for you to finally move forward. And I think one of the things that I really enjoyed that me and Piera talked about before we even got started on this podcast is just that mindset. And Piera, I would love for you to intro it, and then maybe we can go from there on the scarcity mindset.
Oh, yes. Yes. Scarcity mindset, where you are coming from a place of lacking of resources. I am trying to heal from that, from money, career, that sort of thing, but it can happen in love. When we were talking about this episode and like what we wanted to talk through, we were sharing how sometimes you are like, you attract these people who are, I'm going to say low vibrational, but who,
I
you
mean,
can.
yeah.
I mean, I now hang out with
I
way
feel like the
more.
low vibrational is the best way to describe it. I would call them a fuck face, but like low vibrational is definitely like the better way to say it.
I mean, there's low vibrational and there's high quality humans, which I feel like I associate myself more with since coming out of the scarcity mindset. I mean, therapy obviously has helped. Talking to my friends has helped. But I don't know. I feel like in some of my previous relationships, I would be with these people because I didn't think there was more out there, or I thought like, oh my god, this is the person, and then I would like hold on for dear life when the relationship was way past its expiration date, just because you're like scared. But I'm no longer like that.
Yeah.
But Harlee, I don't know.
I
How do you
mean,
feel?
so this is the funny thing is that, and I you know what's funny too is like re-listening to myself. I always say like, this is the funny thing, and none of it's actually funny. I think that I'm just like masking it by being like quote unquote funny,
Right.
um, with all my trauma.
Yeah.
But
That's
you know
why
what's
we're so
funny is
funny.
we know
That's
what's
why we're
funny.
funny.
I know, right? But maybe I'm not going to say the funny thing. But one of the things I think that's been an interesting thing that I've been going through lately is
Mm,
I've been stuck in the scarcity mindset. And you know what's funny
mm,
is when we were talking about this and you brought up scarcity mindset, I had never thought about that before. Like literally up until like a few days ago when we talked about this episode
mm.
of having the scarcity mindset and podcast exclusive. I haven't
What?
even like posted about this on social media or anything, but I started seeing somebody and they are like, they treat me so much better than like anyone has ever treated me before. And it's so crazy that I've been settling for these like duds because, and I don't want to say duds because let me rephrase that.
Some
I've
of them can
had
be duds.
in my relation I mean, there's definitely duds. But I do have to say, I stayed in a lot of relationships for a really long time because I thought that like I could make them better for me, you
Mm,
know? And
mm.
I tried. And and I don't want to say that they didn't try either. I mean, there was some guys, let me rephrase this. There was a lot of duds. A lot of duds. And there was somebody that I dated for a while who I do think we both tried. We both gave it our best. And I think that it's something that I should have left way in advance. And one of the things I'm kind of dealing with right now in my current relationship is th- I've been triggered a lot by the past. And that's something
Mm,
that's really coming up for me lately. And I didn't think it was going to come up for me again. This thing happened years ago. And I think in that relationship, there's a million things that went wrong in that relationship. I was cheated on. I was left at the airport after my uncle died. I was, my house
not
was
nice
broken
things.
into
Yeah.
and not nice things. And, I think I did truly love this person, but I think that I never saw it working out in the long run, and that's why I kind of stepped back a little bit. And I think we both wanted to make it work so badly, and it just didn't.
Mm,
And like it and it
yeah.
and it I don't think it's anyone's fault per se, but I do think that it was just hard,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to be a little bit of like a peace person about it, only because one of the things that I think has been the hardest thing for me is defamation. And I hate to say that word, but
Mm,
I've seen so many people come clean about things that have happened to them. And then, like, already the worst things have happened to them. And
yeah.
then you get to this, like, other point. And so that's another thing, like, for a really long time, between not wanting people to hate me, not wanting, to like put this person on blast, because I do care about this person. You know what I mean? Like, we
Yeah.
had
Of course.
a relationship and it ended, and I think that's one of the things, is finding the boundaries of like what you can talk about and what you can't talk about. And it's not just one person, it's multiple people,
Mm,
there's another person that's really hurt me in my past too. And so I think just all these things are bubbling up in this new relationship that I'm in, because everything's going really well and I'm like,
yeah.
holy fucking hell, and excuse my language, but like, when you get into a good relationship and you look back at your old relationships and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
what the fuck? Like, you're like, I
Yeah.
was settling for that. Like,
Yeah.
and again, like, we all go through things. And I think there's a learning process behind it, right? Where you realize, like, we're
Yeah.
just not right for each other. We're toxic for each other. Like, that's
It's a
it.
mix of things. Yeah.
And yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I'm seeing how I could have been treated and how I deserve to be treated,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm even seeing how I react to that treatment. And I am like in a whole different place than I was in these past relationships. And I think for me, it's just crazy because I'm 32 and I'm like realizing all of this right now. And it's just like,
Well,
I'm just being
that's
triggered
called
left and
growth.
right by
I
like
know.
growth. I know, by like the past, the future, and how to move on from the past in order to like be better in the future. And I feel like maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bounce this over to you because I feel like you're a
Great.
few steps ahead of me in that. Bounce it over to
Thanks.
you. I feel like you're a few steps ahead of me in like the growth process. And I would love to hear, because like I'm literally in the middle of it right now, like it's hit me.
Yeah.
I am now learning how to like spot red flags, which I do want to talk about my red light, green light method after you talk about your methods.
Oh man, that's heavy. Well, my advice, I am one of those people who likes to like dive into the uncomfortable kind of. Like I don't know, that's just part of who I am and have become, I guess. Obviously therapy has helped. My therapist, love her. And then just asking, I think what has like come for me is that I have these morning rituals and I have time for myself, by myself, with myself. I think the biggest thing a lot of people might have trouble with is like looking at the person in the mirror, like I think one of my exes like could never spend more than a couple of days by himself, which is a little problematic, but it's really it sounds so corny and cheesy to be like, it's from within that you love yourself, but it really is. You have to build the relationship with yourself. Like, I've done a lot of childhood trauma healing. I did the EMDR for traumatic things, and then really just starting the journaling and reading it back to myself without judgment, to like see who that person is and get to know who I am. So now when I am like, now that I'm dating and meeting new people, not I'm not seeing like the potential of like what I want. I can see realistically like who this person is, because I mean, people tell you who they are on the first go, and it's up to you to believe it or make up stories. And scarcity mindset plays a role in that as well. But you also see like the fantasy of the potential of the person and where it can go, because you're not like confronting yourself and your reality.
Oh my
Is that
gosh.
good advice? I don't know.
I know. You know what's so funny is like I feel that so hard because like that's what I'm going through right now. Is like I feel like in that past relationship there was like so many red flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on both of our ends. And we just kept on going through, and so this relationship, I think that I've been a little bit triggered from the past, and it's like the scarcity mindset thing where I'm like I'm scared that there's like things that I'm not seeing again, but I don't think that's the
Mm,
case. Like,
right.
but it's like it keeps on coming up, and I think it's coming up in my like I never realized this before, but I need a lot of like reassurance because
Yeah.
I think like in the past and it's not to say that the person in the past didn't give me the reassurance either, but it's like there's certain things that I'm realizing I'm doing that is a trauma response from my
Mm-hmm.
past. And I think that, and this person is wonderful, like wonderful. So it's like, I think for me, it's just like getting over, like, it's just like feeling like I can move forward. And that's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things, like, it's actually funny. I don't know. Obviously, people wouldn't know this, but we actually tried to film this a few days ago when I was like really deep in my feelings. And Piera's in Italy right now. And so the internet cut out. And I was like not in a good place when we first started recording this. And I feel like even just having like a few days of like, okay, like let's find a new date to record this, like get her better on internet and everything. And
Yeah.
I almost am happy that we gave it a few days too, because I mean, I was obviously really upset, but one of the things that, I've been kind of looking at in this new relationship is I call it the red light, green light method.
What
And
is
pretty much,
this?
pretty much. Okay, so after, and Piera knows this too. This is like we were watching. Me and her are both obsessed with this show. I can't believe they only have 2 seasons,
Wait, it's
but
gonna come back. It's gonna come back
oh
on the
my god,
CW.
thank
Side note.
God.
Side
Okay,
note.
great. So it's a show called F Boy Island,
It's very
and
educational. It's
it's
very
so
educational.
educational because the thing that's crazy is I never
Did I
thought about.
recommend it to you? Am I the one who was like, it's recommended? It's educational. I've been telling everyone it's
Maybe. I
educational.
think so. But like no joke, like watching this like reality show made me realize like call out those red flags. Like I had
Yeah.
never done that before. And so pretty much one of the things with this new relationship as I've been doing is red light, green light. And there's a yellow light too, right?
Yeah.
But red light means stop, green light means go, yellow means proceed with caution. And honestly, I feel like it's helped me so much because in this new relationship, like if whenever I start feeling this trauma response or like
Mm,
feeling weird about something, I
yeah.
think about it and I'm like, is it a red light? Is it a yellow light? Or is it a green light? If each time something is happening with this person and it's a green light, you just keep on proceeding. So,
Hmm.
like, I'm always reevaluating the relationship. Green light means go, right? So each time they do something, it's like, green light, great. So that's one of the things that I think has been like allowing me to kind of move forward deeper into this relationship is like, green light, I can keep on moving forward. If ever something happens where I'm like a little bit skeptical of it, I say yellow light and I communicate. Communication is key.
Communication, a
I
concept.
communicate what's going through my head with this person. So on the yellow light, it's communication time.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are able to react to you and the way that you need them to react to, it goes back to green and you keep moving forward. If you hit a red light,
Yeah.
stop. Like that red light is like 1000% like stop. And luckily, I haven't hit a red light yet.
That's
And
great.
so for me, it's like there has been a few yellow lights on both of our ends. And
Yeah.
I think we communicate over that. And then it goes back to green. And that's one of the things I'm like, oh, wow, like this is the first time I've been in like an actual healthy relationship is like
Mm.
in this red light, green light method of like whatever I've made up in my head of like, and that's the thing too. Like, I mean, of course, at the beginning of our relationship, I was still dating other people. And
Yeah.
it's funny because I was using this red light, green light method for others people. And I literally was getting like red light left and right. And I just wouldn't continue with the red lights. And it's kind of crazy to be like, oh my gosh, like this is so crazy. Like, I hit a red light. This person isn't making me feel good. So, like, stop. Like, who
Mm.
freaking knew that that was a thing?
Checking in with self. Checking in with self is what you're doing, which I love because I don't know. I think maybe another part of it could be like you're so focused on the person that you're not focusing on yourself. And then you're not able to be like, wait a minute, a red light is happening or a yellow light is happening right now. So I love these little self check ins and communication. What a concept. Direct communication.
I mean,
Voicing your
shit.
needs. Yeah.
Like, that's another thing too, is like, I just don't think I ever communicated in the past when I was like upset about something. Like, I just let
I never
everything,
did. I
yeah.
was bad. I was toxic in that sense in previous ones where
Oh,
I
same.
would, I mean, I think it's just the way you're brought up in your childhood trauma and like how you are seeing how you're met with these reactions of like feeling sad or angry. But yeah, I never voiced my communication. And one of the things I worked on in therapy was I was so connected to the emotion of like feeling like not good in the relationship that I just internalized it and then I just kept going versus and then when I wanted to share, I would just like burst out in tears and I wouldn't even be able to like say any words. I'd be like like and then I'd just go totally shut down because then I was aggravated with myself that I couldn't express myself. I don't know if you've dealt
Oh
with
my
that, but
gosh.
now I separate the feeling from the word and I no longer cry when I'm upset, like angry.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, there's been times where like something bubbles up
Mm,
and I'll go to them and I'll be like, this is what's happening for me. And like each time it's crazy because like they'll just like smile and be like, thank you for telling me. And I'm like, wait, so you're saying that if I just communicated like what's on my mind instead of being like a toxic biatch, like things can just be better? Like, I just can't tell people that are listening enough. That's just like red light, green light, stop when you see a red light, communicate when you're at the yellow light. Like it's so simple but yet so effective. And one that's a thing, like in F Boy Island, like these girls are literally like dating a million guys, and the second, like, and that's the thing, like they literally
yeah,
call out the red light, like they put a name behind it, like red light, this guy didn't let me talk and kept on
yeah.
talking over me,
They're
which
gaslighting you.
ironically
Yeah.
I well, I was gonna say I'm a talker, so like that's the thing too. Is like red light, green light for somebody else is like they have to be okay with me consistently talking, but it's like it's also just like finding that person that like understands you. It sounds
Yeah.
so like no duh, but
Yeah.
and Pierre, like you're dating right now, so like what are some of the things that you're going through while you're dating? Because I feel like you are like, for me, it's like I wasn't really dating like between my last relationship and this one. I was dating,
Hmm.
but like I was consistently
Mm.
dating toxic people. So this is literally the first time that I'm like, oh wow, like this is something new. But I feel like you've been doing a really
Mm.
good job at like whenever me and you talk about your dating, like you've been really good at just like putting a name on it, being like, this is
Yeah.
great. I'm just moving forward on this. Like, I feel like you've been moving about it in such a healthy way. And I feel like you could
Thanks.
really, like, you've even been helping me with some of like the way that you've been moving forward. So
Oh, thank
let's
you.
talk about your dating life.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the first thing I will say is after any major breakup, I do not date like for a full year. Like, do not take me out on a date. I'm not interested. I'm just not emotionally available to literally anybody. So I really do the self work. I feel like everyone should do that instead of like but it's I know it is easier to go to another relationship because I have also done that. But I for the past year have been like, nope. If I meet someone, I meet someone that's cool. Now I'm on the apps. I am dating a couple of people, but the difference is what I wrote down is a qualities list. And instead of like a checklist of a person, it's a quality list. Like things that are important to me. Are they genuine? Are they emotionally intelligent? Are they self aware and kind? Like all these things. And if they don't, is it's kind of like a red light, green light of like, if they don't meet this, like, is that like a big issue or is that okay? Because like a lot of the time the person looks great on paper and is not a full-fleshed human being in person. So
I mean,
I
we
don't
live in LA, so
well, yeah. And then I mean the other thing I do, which is like half joking, half serious, is like I will ask for their birth date, time, and location because I will compare our birth charts.
oh my gosh. To
I've
be
had
honest,
guys.
I do
What?
not do that.
Maybe
Wait, no,
you
you keep on
should.
going. I want to hear this. I just want to let everyone know that you take, no offense, but you take a little bit more of like the woo-woo approach.
I do, yeah.
I'm a little bit more like, I don't give a shit. Just treat me nice. But I just wanted to say that so that anyone listening, I think I'm a little bit more like on the other end where I'm like, but I do enjoy hearing like what you guys have to say because no joke, like right
Yeah.
now Scorpio, Gemini, like I don't think that that's probably a good combination, but like
It's
I'm
not
just
bad.
moving forward, so that's why I'm like whatever. But no, keep going, keep going.
Keep going. I mean, look, just the sun signs is not enough, okay? If you're listening and you're dating, get the moon, get the rising, get the Venus, and get the Mars, okay? And then you could figure that out. But it really makes a difference. Like I've spoken to guys and I will flat out be like, we're not compatible. And the guy will be like, but I'll still take you on a date. I'm like, okay. And then we'll go on this date. And then there won't be any sparks. Like there's just no connection. And I don't know. I also have a good gut feeling, pretty strong gut of like, this person's probably like, even before I meet them, you know? But the other thing I will say, because I've shared this with other friends, is in dating too, I think not to generalize, but as you're dating, a lot of people in the past that I've gone on dates with or spoken to is like, you know, the manic pixie dream girl like thing stereotype of like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I am not your manic pixie dream girl. I'm a full flesh like multidimensional human. Like, do not get so
Just
like
because Piera has blue hair doesn't mean she's a manic pixie dream girl. Guys, get it? Get it straight.
get it together. So I mean that's something I've spoken about with friends of like people who are not totally like fully healed or like that's cool if you're not like wherever you are in your journey, that's beautiful. Like just be self-aware, whatever. But don't I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but like they get so wrapped up in like your world and then the moment you maybe like express a different sort of emotion or something, they're like, oh my God, no, I can't. Like this is like too real for me. I've had instances of that.
That's why
And
I just like to lay all my craziness out at the very beginning so
on the
someone
first
can
date,
realize that they're just like, I mean, let's be real. I'm a little cray cray. Like, I mean, I'll admit, like, I don't believe in much of the like horoscope stuff, but like, I am a Scorpio, and I will say that.
yeah,
And I am like, I'm a little wild child. I grew up in a wild family. Like, I have a lot of trauma from my past. I have been through shit. Like, I'm not
yeah.
gonna like excuse who I am to anybody. And like, I kind of like, I mean, it sounds like a little bit insane to say, but like, if you are going to date me, you are going to get crazy.
All of you,
But like,
yeah,
I'm down for whatever. You're
yeah.
going to get all of me, all my 5 personalities, like you're getting. And like the person I'm even dating with right now, like I laid out those person, like they know. I think they saw me as like this person who was like maybe a little bit like cluster fucked all over the place. But like, you know what's funny too? I actually used to work with this singer, and she has this song, and the lyrics go, "If things go south, I'll figure it out." And it's just been like my consistent like mindset, I think,
Yeah.
recently of like just everything. Like, if something goes bad, I'll figure it out. And I'm just going to keep on moving forward. And that's the thing that I really want to do. And
Mm.
I think with this one, it was like, things kept on going south, but I always had a positive outlook on it. And I think that's the thing that like led them to like me.
Mm.
And, I think there's a lot of people out there who like see this and they kind of like run away, and I think that this person was like, oh, like she is figuring it out. She's a little wild, a little disorganized, but like she has it together. And that's the thing that
Overall,
I
yeah.
really appreciate,
Yeah,
you
and I
know?
will add, as you were sharing your story, in addition to like the whole, I literally wrote out the list of qualities that I look for in a partner, because you essentially mirror each other. So the other things, as you were speaking of like, you feel safe to be your full self, like that is a question I ask myself when I go on dates too. Like, do I feel safe to like be my full self? Am I reserving a part of myself? Because I've done that in relationships where like I was like my full self, and then I slowly kind of became like, I don't know, this doll version of myself that like
Zombie.
wasn't real. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then also like, do they love themselves? If you don't love yourself, I mean, there with that quote, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love anybody else? Like, is that RuPaul? I don't know, but I think that's RuPaul.
Sounds like
Uh
something RuPaul would say.
I think so, but it's true because it's like you can't like fill from an empty cup. Like if you don't have a full cup, how do you have another cup? There's none.
Piera, dating
Yes.
advice. Oh my God, right. Dating advice. So what is your, so
Advice.
to end this entire episode, like what would you say you would give anybody? Because obviously you're still dating right now. So I mean, I know
Yeah.
you said love yourself, but
Yeah.
like what's one takeaway that like, especially while you're dating, and I know there's a ton of other people out there dating, like what's one thing that we can leave everybody with?
I think the most important
I'm
thing
really
that
putting you on the
has
spot here.
the most important thing that has changed the way I date is truly sitting down, getting a notebook, getting a pen or a pencil, because maybe you want to scribble out the things that you're going to write, put on some music, and like get out of your judgment zone and write down the qualities of a person, of a partner, that you would like to like kind of invite in, uh so that when you are out and dating, they can do things and you can be like, oh, there's that quality. Oh, they're consistent. Oh, they're doing that thing. They're putting in effort. Like, and you can like kind of connect the dots, and it just helps you be more present. That's
Okay,
it.
so
That's mine. I don't know.
I want to
And then
know,
ask
what are your top
yourself,
5 qualities?
my
Oh,
top five qualities. I was gonna say the other thing is like, ask yourself if you actually like the person. Like, don't worry about if they like you. Worry about if you like them. First of all, that's
no scarcity mindset, guys.
no,
No, no,
no,
no.
no. My how many qualities? My like top three, five.
Top
What'd you say?
5. Because
Top
I mean,
five.
if there's any single hot guys who love themselves or girls, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. But like, what are your top 5 qualities? We're gonna put it out there, and then we'll
Oh
end it
my
on
god.
that.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna
I
get my
mean,
I'm gonna get my homie hooked up.
thanks. I got it. Can you see that I'm blushing? Can you see? Can you see through my current
No,
tan?
because your
No, good.
internet sucks.
I'm in somebody's cousin's kids like teenage room right now. My
I
top
love it.
five is they have to be emotionally intelligent. They have to like be in tune with their emotions. Number one, self-aware. That is goes without saying. Kind. They have to be kind. Creative. I love my creatives. Probably in part two, I'll go through the consistent pattern of people I've dated. And they have to be confident. They have to be confident. Like, like to be with
Ooh.
me, I think you have to be confident because I don't know, I will devour you otherwise. So those are my top five.
I love that. Oh, yeah. That's one of the things I have to say going into any relationship. The person has to know that I'm going to talk a lot. Like, I'm completely self aware that I talk too much. And you gotta take that. That
On
is
that
it.
note, that's where
Anyways, I hope that we could help people in your dating journey,
somebody.
or if you
Yeah.
are dating and you're seeing red flags, get the fuck out. What are you fucking doing? Get out if you see red flags. Run, guys, run. And on that note, goodbye.
Bye.
Get out if you see red flags. Run, guys, run.